Soft and chewy, tangy and sweet, this is a cherry fruit leather. Fruit leathers are a great way to preserve almost any hedgerow fruit, as I've done here with the cherries I picked. Here's how to do it. Having picked a load of cherries, I first of all washed them and then removed the stones using a cherry pitter. I didn't weigh the cherries, instead I used a normal sized cup as a measuring tool. And it turns out I had just over 4 cups worth of cherries. So I put exactly 4 cups worth of pitted cherries into a pan. I then added about 1/4 of a cup's worth of water, just a good dollop basically to prevent it from drying out as I boiled it. And I also added 1/3 of a cup of honey, just for a little extra sweetness, to balance out the tartness of the cherries. But note, the addition of any sugar or honey to any fruit leather recipe is entirely optional. It can definitely be sweet enough just from the natural sugars in the fruits. I then mixed everything up whilst bringing it to the boil, and once it was boiling I boiled the cherries for about 5 to 10 minutes just to cook them and make them nice and soft to the touch. I then used a hand blender to blitz up everything into a nice liquid and then poured the liquid into 2 baking trays lined with parchment paper. If you're going to use a special dehydrator instead of just a normal oven, obviously you could just pour the liquid lined with parchment paper or silicone sheets onto your dehydrator trays. Try and spread the mixture as evenly as possible, and then it's just a question of dehydrating it. If you've got a dehydrator with temperature settings, then ideally you want to choose about 50 degrees Celsius, and it will probably take anywhere from 8 to 12 hours depending on how thick your mixture is and that kind of thing. For an oven, you want a very low heat, a minimum 50 degrees Celsius, but no more than 70 degrees as well. I also like to have the door slightly ajar just to let moisture escape, which can help with the drying process in an oven. And again, how long it takes in an oven is going to vary massively depending on how thick your mixture is and the nature of your oven and so on, but you're looking at a minimum 5 hours, and in some cases as long as 12 to 18 hours. And ideally, if you're using this oven method, you want to turn your trays around every hour or two just to ensure a smooth drying. Whether you've used your dehydrator or the oven method, the fruit leather is ready when it feels hard and only slightly tacky. If it feels wet or it's sticking to your fingers or it just feels very sticky, then it needs longer. So what you're looking for is a nice hard consistency and just very slightly tacky. If you overdo it, it's not a disaster, it just means that your fruit leather will be a bit hard and it might just break up and be a bit too crispy. I then take the slabs of fruit leather and remove them from the parchment paper, and using scissors I just cut them into strips. I then just roll up the strips and put them all into an airtight container. You can either store it in the fridge or anywhere in a cool, dry place. It's a very stable food, so it should be fine anywhere at room temperature, and as long as it's in a nice airtight container it should last for months, if not years. Whenever you want some, you can just tear off little strips like that, however much you want. It's a great energy boost on a walk, or just a very nice snack at any time of day. This particular one has a nice sweetness to it, obviously, but also balanced with a little bit of tartness, as most fruit leathers are. So it's absolutely lovely.